Hello dear students. In the previous lecture we had a discussion on electric supply to induction motor in industries. We have seen that most of the drives which are used in industries are the induction motor drives. They are having various advantages over the other types of drives and very convenient to use and control, and that is why the most widely used electrical drive is an induction motor drive. We have seen the basic introductory part of the same. We have seen the starting of induction motors along with the starters. So why the starters is used, what are the various types of starters which are used as per the capacity of induction motor, what are their different aspects like construction, working, control, power circuit, control circuit, their complete control strategy, then advantages and disadvantages, operation, and the field of use along with their characteristics. We have seen all these things related to those starters in the previous lecture. In this particular video lecture, we will be focusing upon the second part of that particular topic as far as now is concerned is a contactor. So contactors are the essential part of starters also. Unless and until we do have a contactor, a complete starter cannot be manufactured. So contactors does play the role of either making or breaking the contacts, so does the starter will either run or stop the motor. So how these contactors works, what are the various categories or types of the contactors, and how they play a role in controlling all those starters and induction motor drives, we are going to see in this particular video lecture. So let us concentrate upon. As far as the technical definition of the contactor is concerned, a contactor can be best described as magnetically closed switch. It is the basic unit upon which the motor starter built. As I said earlier, it is an essential part of any starter. Contactors are also used for switching on and off of heavy loads like furnaces, heaters, capacitors, etc. Basically, electromagnetic contactor consists of fixed part and moving part, and also has a core, a stationary core, which will either get energized or de-energized to operate the contactor. The contactors are basically classified into solenoid type and clapper type. We will see these two in detail now. So a solenoid type, they basically have a fixed contact and a moving contact and a electromagnetic coil. When this electromagnetic coil is energized, the movable core is pulled to the stationary core, thus closing the contact. That means suppose this is a fixed contact, this is a moving contact, and this moving contact is basically associated with the electromagnetic coil. When this electromagnetic coil is getting energized, this moving contact gets stuck with the fixed contact. Now the contacts are closed and hence make the circuit. Basically it is like this only. Let us see. So these are the contacts which you can see here. These are the moving contacts and these are the fixed contacts. So here we have electromagnetic coil or a solenoid coil, we can see. So when the core gets energized, what happens? This plunger is pulled downward like this. So initially when this is pulled downward, what is happening? Those contacts are open. But when the coil is energized, here the contacts are getting touched with the fixed contacts. So does what happens? This getting closed. You can see here the moving contact are attached to the spindle, and this is an armature which either moves up or down. So when this solenoid coil or the contactor coil gets energized, due to the electromagnetic action, this armature comes down. This armature pulls down, and when it pulls down, it closes this moving contact with respect to the fixed contact, and hence now the supply from this end goes to this end, hence the circuit is closed. So this is a normally open type of solenoid type contactor. all these are normally open. You can see a normally closed contact here. So when the plunger gets operated, it will get open and this will get closed. So this is how the solenoid type contactor works. These are the various symbols associated with the contactor. This is a general symbol of a contactor, the NO contact, the NC contact, and how this operates and makes the contact or breaks the contact like this. Then clapper type contactor. Now see here the clapper type contactor. Now basically what happens, here we have a plunger or the contactor coil which has to be energized. Now this is the respective armature which will get pulled in when the coil gets energized, and due to spring action, when the coil getting de-energized, it will come back to its initial position. Here we have the corresponding clapping type of contact. This is a moving contact, this is a fixed contact, and the corresponding outgoing terminal is here, incoming terminal is here. So what happens when the core gets energized, this plunger or armature gets pulled in. So when this get pulled in, see the moment of this, and particularly this is a lower end of the armature, this is the upper end of the armature wherein the corresponding moving contact is fixed. So when this lower end gets pulled in, the upper end gets in touch with the fixed contact. Now here whichever supply is coming to the incoming circuit is now going to the outgoing circuit, thus making the clapping sound, and that is why the name here is a clapper type contactor. So these are the basic two types of contactors which are used in the starter, but mostly the solenoid type contactors are widely used, because here in case of clapper type contactor, the drawback is always when the operation took place, this clapping sound is there and it makes interference with respect to the electro telecommunication circuit, and that is why they are quite a bit avoided to be used in those circuits which are remotely controlled or where the telecommunication lines are coming in picture. Now there is an arc formation also when the contacts are getting separated, like in the case of circuit breaker, and arc is stuck between the contacts. Again, due to natural convection phenomenon, this arc is getting extinguished. Now how to select these power contactors? What are the various criteria on the basis of which these contactors are selected? So basically the key elements in selecting a contactor are main contacts, auxiliary contact, and coil. So on the basis of having the information related to these three key elements, any contactor for a suitable application can be selected. Now we will see how to select main pole or main contact. So how many NO and NC terminals you are required with? The basic thing in selecting the number of main circuits or main contact, number of NO point and NC point, that has to be taken into consideration first. Then the most important is the current rating of the contactor, because the contactor terminals has to carry the full load current, as well as if any abnormality is there, that has to be carried by the contactor terminals. So that current rating should be known well in advance before we select a particular contactor. Then at what voltage the contactor is operating, whether it is operating for a single phase circuit or a three-phase circuit, and if three-phase circuit, at what particular voltage level the contactor has to be operated. Depending on that, the corresponding rating of the main contact along with the contactor is selected. Then duty in the absence of specific duty, because suppose we want to run an induction motor, then the contactor needs to be selected based on how much duration the induction motor is going to work. If it is for very short period of time, that is a short time duty cycle. If it is intermediate, then intermediate duty cycle. If it is a continuous running motor, then it's a continuous duty contactor. So depending on that, the strength of the contactor terminals need to be selected. So these are the key points in selecting the main contact or main poles of the contactor. Then comes the auxiliary contact, because auxiliary contacts are the secondary contacts which are being required when we need some parallel operation to be performed along with the main contactor terminal. Then in that case only we need the corresponding auxiliary contact. Again, depending on how much NO and NC contacts are required for the auxiliary contact also, that specific auxiliary contact need to be selected. If not used in standard low power rating signals or signaling application, main poles can be used as an auxiliary contact in some cases. Then coil. Now this is again important. The first thing is voltage of the coil, because ultimately there are contactors which are used or which are available depending on the coil voltage, 110 volt AC, 220 volt AC or 400 volt AC. So this is how the corresponding coil voltage is taken into consideration for selecting a contactor. Again, whether that coil requires AC supply or DC supply, 12 volt DC contactor, 24 volt DC contactor, 110 volt DC contactor, 240 volts DC contactor. These are all the corresponding voltage levels for AC and DC contactors, depending on which you have to select a particular contactor for your particular application. Now the additional information apart from main pole selection, auxiliary pole selection and coil selection, is the contactor to be enclosed? That means if it has to be enclosed with the motor connection, then a closed contactor to be used. So we have to select accordingly. Then is there any specific design requirement for your contactor and the complete control cabinet? Depending on that, you have to select a particular contactor. Then number of operations per hour, again duty cycle. This is more important here. Latching operation, that means latching means either closing or opening, whether it will be latched for a security purpose or not. Then environmental considerations such as ambient temperature, the temperature of the atmosphere or the temperature of the room in which it has to get installed and it has to be operated. Depending on that, the respective type of contactor is selected. Here is a list of those AC and DC contactors along with their duties they have to perform. Now AC contactors are classified as AC1, AC2, AC3, AC4, and all these are having a specific duty to be performed. Here also they are having DC type of contactor ranging from DC1 to DC5 along with their corresponding duties which they have to perform. You can have a look over this table for selecting a particular type of contactor for the respective nature of duty they have to perform. Have a look. Fine. Now up to this point we have seen the basic elements of the starter, the operation of the starter, the corresponding main important part of the starter, that is contactor. Now we have also seen the working of the contactor, type of contactor and classification of contactor depending on the nature of duty they have to perform. So till now we have completed the basics of starter and contactor. We will have the next video on overload relays, the another element of this starter. By the time, have a nice day. Thank you one and all.